can't believe I finally finished my first manuscript. Can't wait to be published. Huh? Uh-oh. First manuscript? Who are you? Listen, I'm your guardian author, and if I'm here, that means you must be about to do something pretty... Is this Simon & Schuster? Yes. Oh, dude! They're gonna think you're nuts! They'll think you came to kill them, or worse, like getting them to actually read your book or something. There's a rhyme and reason to this stuff in a natural order that must be followed. You dig? Like what? Well, you're not an established author yet, so you have to go through the slush pile. Alright. Come on, I'll show you. Go on. I'm, here for the slush pile. Huh? Yeah. Oh, so I just...
Are you an established author?
No.
Then yeah, you just...
Alright.
Huh?
Help me! I don't know how long I've been down here.
Oh god.
They said I'd hear back in 4 to 6 weeks, and I just...
Oh god. Alright, calm down. Here, sit down. You didn't do any research about publishing, did you? Let's talk about your options.
Okay.
Guardian author and make it all better. So, you wrote a book. That's a Goliath undertaking, and this video is by no means meant to take away from that. So, whatever you do get out of this video, this guide on what comes after, please continue to feel good about finishing your story, or if you haven't yet, start feeling good about finishing your story. Now, here's a saying I really hate because of how true it is. Writing a book is the easy part. It's something you have control over. The next step, what comes next, is something you don't have so much control over, which is publishing, making sure that story gets into the hands of readers. What you do have are choices, but the outcomes of each are, at least in part, up to chance. All you can do as a writer is research all of your options carefully and make sure you pick the path that works best for you and your story. I'm the Roadside Writer, and today I'm going to talk to you about the different publishing options. If you like these videos, don't forget to support what I do with my channel by liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon. You can also support me on Patreon to help me get rid of this ugly banner and other cool stuff. And if you need more intensive writing help, please visit my website and check out my creative writing course, The Basics of Plotting a Novel. Alright, let's talk about publishing. Disclaimer time. This is very much a venting exercise for me, so the examples you're going to see of these types of publishing are very overblown, dramatic, and intended to be humorous. I'm going to rip each of these apart, but they do have their own advantages and disadvantages. Here's the one that even newly initiated writers are probably familiar with. This is the venue through which bestsellers and newcomers alike get their books on the shelf of major booksellers like Barnes & Noble, Bookends, Books A Million, traditional publishing. Over time, the traditional publishing scene has become absolutely dominated by 5 major companies. They absorbed most of their smaller competitors to become literary superpowers. Almost every non-indie publishing house is an imprint of one of these bigger publishing companies. And in the publishing world, an imprint is basically a smaller branch of a publishing company that goes by a different name. So most of the publishing companies you'll come across are in some way owned by these big 5. Hachette, or Hachette? I'm really not sure how to say that one. HarperCollins, Penguin Random House, Macmillan, and Simon & Schuster. Most of these publishing houses have only one door for authors to walk through, and it's far from the glamorous experience our forebears had. It's the one we saw in the intro. That's right, the slush pile. That's a pretty good story, huh? But yeah, it's not bad. Is it yours? Yeah, this is so much better than all the ones I had to eat to survive while I was waiting to be discovered down here. Hey, would you mind putting in a good word for me with the agent? Yeah, sure. Oh, thanks, man. Maybe just like drop some pages into my mouth too. I'm too weak to feed myself anymore. Oh my god. Oh man, I thought that was it for a second. I'll see you around. Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, the public is super into ogres right now, so it's not marketable at all. We'll write them a personalized rejection letter and call it a day. You like it? And most of the time, that bars new authors not even from getting to a publisher, but from getting to an agent. And a literary agent is basically a lawyer that specializes in books. And most of the big 5 publishers will not talk to you unless you have an agent representing you. If you can get through to one of them, they will pitch your book to a publisher on your behalf. Alright, of course blown up for comedic purposes, but that is why they call it the slush pile. Ponder with me for a moment the unique challenges of publishing a book in the information age. Anyone with a computer, a word processor, and internet can click publish and call themselves an author. And they do. Pool of people literary agencies have to wade through to find a good book is immense. This has caused systems to be implemented that, while necessary, are not necessarily justified. There's too many authors for literary agents to look through every single submission. So, when you as a new author submit to a literary agency, you're actually going through up to 3 layers, maybe more, of buffers before you get to the actual agent. Very few of traditional publishers accept print manuscripts anymore, so it's email only, and none of them that I know of take walk-ins. So agents are dealing with this monumental pile of electronic books coming in from everywhere in the world where there's internet. But if your heart is set on traditional publishing, don't let this dissuade you. People do get discovered this way. It's like winning the lottery. You know, is it likely it's going to happen to you? Probably not, but somebody wins. And there is a better way to connect with it. Go to events. Get involved in the writing community in a very personal way, not just online. A quick Google search will show you a list of literary conferences and pitch fests near you. But if you gotta do a little drive or even take a flight to get to one and you can afford it, it's well worth it. These places are opportunities to connect with literary professionals like agents and publishers in person to make an impression. And if the event allows it, like a pitch fest or a pitch session at a literary conference, you can actually skip those buffer areas and talk directly to a literary agent about your project. I think the disadvantages of traditional publishing speak for themselves, but there are great advantages too. If you manage to nail a traditional publishing contract, the publisher sets up a team of specialists to make sure your book is the best it can be. You'll get a marketing specialist assigned to you, a professional editor, a professional illustrator. All of these ancillary things that authors are not really equipped to handle will be taken care of by very talented professionals. And you won't have to pay anything up front. All of those other people I mentioned are paid by the publisher, and they're paid a cut of the royalties from your book, which in turn is why it's so hard to nail a traditional publishing contract. They have to be sure they're going to make that money back. But if you can get one, this is huge. This is the opposite end of the spectrum from traditional publishing. It's the newest form of publishing a book, and it comes with its own unique advantages and challenges. Let's take a closer look. Just a few more adjustments, and there we go. You know, thought this would be more climactic. I'm published. Huh. Hello?
Yeah, I just finished your book. Yeah,
Really?
I'm just calling to let you know I hated it. That rant on page 206 about butt mushrooms? What was that about? Came out of nowhere.
I didn't delete that. Oh, it was a placeholder for a scene I couldn't
Completely
think of.
ruined the experience.
Alright. I know what I
I
have to
hate
do.
you.
Sorry, old friend. I'm so sorry it had to go down like this. Deed is done. Hello?
Hey, dumbass, you know destroying your laptop doesn't destroy the book, right?
Oh my god, that's right. The internet's not inside my laptop.
Curse upon your family.
Whereas a traditional publisher will assign you a team of specialists, when you self-publish, you've got to choose. Are you going to wear all of those hats yourself? Try to handle the editing, the illustration, the marketing, or are you going to hire those jobs out to other people? Quick disclaimer, I'm going to heavily recommend that you assign all those jobs to other people, except maybe marketing. But research it, how to do it, because if you just aimlessly throw your book into the mystical interwebs, it's not going to go anywhere. But because you yourself are the publisher, you have to play the role of the publisher. You have to shell out the dough for other people to accomplish the jobs you're not equipped to handle. Either you are your team, or you have to build that team yourself, with careful selection and moolah. Unless you have friends willing to donate professional services to you, whatever you do, don't skimp on these services to save money. No one person can do the job of 5 effective. If you print your self-published book, you also have to pay for this up front. Now, it's entirely possible to make that money back plus a profit if you're smart and you know about marketing, but it is something to consider that, when you go through the traditional publishing route, there's really no overhead. In self-publishing, there's potentially a lot of overhead. Depends on if you want to go ebook only or ebook and print. Also, recount what I said earlier about how easy it is to self-publish. Keep in mind that when you enter the self-publishing market, you're competing with literally millions of other people who also have a computer, word processor, and internet and can publish their own books. In a way, this is kind of like a surrogate slush pile. Your book has been released into the internet where, yes, there's billions of readers, but there's also millions of authors. If you want to legally be considered the publisher of your own work, make sure you buy an ISBN. If you're in the United States, the only company legally licensed to sell an ISBN is called Bowker. Look them up and you can find an ISBN on their site. Here's a good middle-of-the-road option for people who are not sure if they align more with traditional publishing or self-publishing. This method is technically a type of traditional publishing since you are still approaching an outside publishing company. Remember earlier when I said that the Big Five absorbed most of their competitors? This indie publishing option has to do with everyone else who was not absorbed. Finding a quality indie publisher is the same as finding any quality small business. They don't come with the brand trust that a bigger company has. So you have to do your own research. Man, is this the place? Oh, hi. Hey man, what are you doing in my house? I thought my Random House Publishing. Yeah, this is Random House Publishing, right? Shit, I guess so. What can I do for you? So I emailed you, and you said you'd print my book? Oh yeah? How many? You said we'd negotiate in person. Alright, let me see. Here we go. Yeah, I could probably do 5. 5 copies? At least 5. Yeah, man. Just gotta load it up into my chromatic book matrix. That's just a dehumidifier, man. Yeah, brother. Humidity's bad for the pages. You know what? Yeah, 5 copies sounds good. Yep. Go for it. As many as 5. Let's see what we can do. Alright. There are plenty of extremely successful indie publishing houses who are great and totally respectable. But you also have to bear in mind that humans are flawed and there are people that creep in the shadows who want to take advantage of new authors. Your random houses, if you will. Indie publishers may or may not staff their own team of publicists, illustrators, and editors. It depends on their budget. Again, this is where the research comes in. You have to see about each individual indie publisher. They may or may not have the financial standing to distribute as many books as you want. But in terms of advantages, if you ensure that this indie publishing company is respectable and that you trust them, you're going to receive customer service like you wouldn't believe. They don't deal with as many clients as a big publishing house. They can give way more of a laser focus to the clients they do have. If you can find a good indie publishing house, it's a great way to get your work out there and start building your audience. It's an amazing stepping stone in your writing career, and you can bet that that publisher is going to be dedicated to helping you grow your image and getting your story out there. And there it is for you, everybody. Laid out as clear as day. You could not possibly want to know more about publishing. Obviously, I just scraped the tip of the iceberg. In 10 to 15 minutes, you couldn't possibly learn all there is to know about publishing. So please take what I gave you as a bedrock foundation and use it to construct your own additional research. It's a part of life for all writers. We all go through it. You have to learn about the different types of publishing so you can choose which one best suits you and your story. So none of these options is perfect. And the thing is, most authors don't stick to one path. It's a growing, changing market, and in order to succeed, you have to adapt and maybe dabble in a couple different kinds of publishing to build yourself up as an author. I set out to traditionally publish at first. I was so set on it, but then I realized I was spending years of my life writing books that no one was reading because an agent wouldn't take them when I could write a great story, self-publish, and start building my audience first. Some authors find extreme success with traditional publishing first, then go on to publish their own books because they know their audience is hungry for more. Some people build up a reputation as an author, self-publishing and indie publishing, and then they get discovered by one of the big five. You never know which way your path to authordom is going to twist. So be ready to swing a hard left if the option presents itself. And no matter which way you go, remember there are shitty parts to all paths of publishing. So try not to spend time beating yourself up. I know it's hard, but be proud of your work. Trust me, someday someone else will come along and they'll be proud of it too. And that day makes all the difference. If you like what I do with the Roadside Writer, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, maybe support me on Patreon if you're feeling extra awesome. I'm gonna get rid of this hideous banner. And if you need more intensive writing help, please subscribe to my website. I do written out writing tips almost weekly. And check out my more intensive writing course, The Basics of Plotting a Novel. I want to help you guys any way I can, and I've constructed an extensive array of resources to do so. For now, Roadside Writer, out. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the conference. Man, if I get approached by one more author. Finally, I'm here. I've self-published. I've gotten a few contracts with smaller indie publishers. Now it's time to electrify my Frankenstein's monster writing career with a little bit of tradition. You want me to talk to the agent? You're not the agent? I'm the intern to the assistant, to the agent's intern's assistant. Damn it! But hey, it seems like you've had some success. I could talk you up. Really, man? You'd do that? Yeah, dude. Thanks, man. You know, you're alright. Here, have some water. Thanks, man. I'm actually pretty thirsty. That's my mug. Hey, how did you get... No one can ever know